Good morning, evening, or night. Today we will continue our series. We are going to work on the bike that our noble tech marine shall ride into battle if he did not get a DUI. Let us start off with the toolkit. We will base coat all three tools in lead belcher. We shouldn't need to do much more than that. They're already well designed, and with our paint scheme, nothing can go wrong. Unless something does, which it probably won't. Now let's continue by working on the trim of the bike. These old bikes had trim in three specific places: the front wheel well, the edge of the back, and the fuselage, or the fuel tank, whatever you want to call it. We'll base coat this also in lead belcher. We won't be adding layers or shade paints, but we can eventually work up to that one day. Those are a bit more extreme for beginner type models, and I always believe that firstborn models should be considered beginner types, especially when you're the one who kitbashed them and you're the one who is going to be painting them. And with these older models, the details were much more equitable for the type of painting that we're doing. Now, after we paint the trim, we'll work on the inner mechanics of the bike. The carburetor, the radiator, the thing, we're going to call it the thing, all the metallic bits underneath the seat, and the fuselage. When we get here, we'll just base coat it all lead belcher as well. The lead belcher is a very good contrast to the base coat of black. We'll also be coloring in the pipes later, along with the exhaust pipes. By doing this, we set a very good set of contrasts: light metallics, but dark base. After we take care of all that, we can start work on the wing. Now, I forgot to take out White Scar. White Scar we did not end up using, as Screaming Skull, our base color, a yellowish bone color of white, was a good base coat, and the Corax white we used later was good as our accent color. Any whiter would have made it look a bit weird in my opinion. We'll not only be coloring in the back fin, but there's also the other side of the fin, but most importantly, the two wings that reside on the front of the bike. These will be painted in the exact same style as the back wing. By doing this, we set a good color palette for the bike: black, metallic lead belcher, and whites. It's always good to have a color palette set up for whatever model you're painting. You can even look at the Ultramarines to take inspiration on what you should do. They have their blue, they have their golds, and lastly, they have their blacks. The three primary colors. If you look at the Blood Angels, you can see similar. They have red, they have black, and they have gold. The gold is more often than not associated to their weaponry. Gold trim on black base weapons. You know, being fancy and all that. The Adeptus Custodes are similar. They have gold, they have lead belchers, with, I guess, metallic paints, and then they have the blue of their Guardian Spears. As we continue on, we'll start using our Corax white. As you can see, it did very well. But we should also focus on the little panel on the front of the bike, or I guess in between the handles. Now, to make this look good, we're going to make it a little green screen. No, that does not mean you should project anything onto it. That would be weird. Kind of. But we're going to base coat it with, I believe it was Sons of Horus green. It's a very good bluish green mix. It's complicated to explain. It looks bluish green to me though. I guess seafoam? Is seafoam the right color? Someone give me a color palette. Now, after this, we'll take moot green, a layer color that is very well for making the cracks on screens, or putting the actual writing, kind of, I guess, scribbles, onto our computer screen. essentially we're just going to make horizontal lines across the surface of the screen, starting from the top, moving our way down to the bottom. The top should seem bigger as it should be the headliner of the text. From there we can make the print smaller, finer, and less legible. Well, less legible down line, I guess. And with that, we will now move on to the twin plasma talon. We will base coat with a darker blue, something akin to McCrag blue. This is the color that Ultramarines use for their armor. Well, primarily. There's also layers and edge highlights, but, we're just going to go with that for now. After we base coat fully, the coils fully, in the McCrag blue, we will go on and use a lighter blue. My personal recommendation is Armin blue. It's a light blue, and if I'm not mistaken, is a layer paint. Wait, do I have it on hand? It's a layer paint. As you can see, it looks very fine. Very blue, if I do say so myself. Which I do, as I'm saying so. Myself. Right now. I feel like I've said too much. With the coils done, we'll move on to the actual box of our toolbox. Now for this, Wordbearer's red will do. It's I guess a browner type of red, like a burgundy. I think burgundy is the right color I'm thinking of. But it works for a weathered red toolbox. Now, while painting the toolbox, make sure you get all the sides, all the corners. It's a box. You can't really mess up with a box. Though we will witness a little mess up that we had earlier that I forgot to address. We also need to go back with Leadbelcher and paint the underside of the tools that we have. I may or may not have forgotten to paint them. So they're currently sitting there black on the underside. Luckily, even if you do mess up right there, not many people are going to be looking at the bottom side of the toolkit. Let's also stand up our Tech Marine. Poor guy fell. Now, as we continue, I do recommend adding little scratches, notches, usual weathering on the toolbox. It'll sell the believability. But if you don't want to, the toolbox won't be the primary focus of the kit. Or base, I guess. The primary focus would be the fact that there's a bike that's been crashed. So make sure you put effort into the bike. Because, well, it's the focus. Yeah. Yes, as you can see now, actually, we can witness the tools in their little mess up. So, better to fix that. Now, after we've painted our tools, we can go back with a Leadbelcher onto the twin plasma talon. We'll use the Leadbelcher to paint the, I guess, shielding? I always forget what this part's called, but I believe it's called the shielding of the plasma weapon. Similar to how flamethrowers, blowtorches, and other flame-based devices all have shielding as well. Now, I'm also going to be showing in the next video how to do a certain type of weathering effect. More like the heat element of a flamethrower. Our next model might be a Primaris Infernus Marine? Yeah. Or we're going to do a Firstborn. Comment down below if you want a Primaris or a Firstborn. Please say Firstborn. Now, after this, we will take Runelord Brass finally, and we'll paint certain aspects of the bike. Most notably, the sigils on the side of the plasma talons, and the front sigil that's in front of the little computer and between the plasma talons. It'll be Runelord Brass because it's a very nice weathered goldish color. Definitely not a brass, by the way. So, yeah. Now, too much effort shouldn't be needed here. You can just dry brush if you want, that way you can get some good shadows on there. But if you want to put extra effort into it, just Well, don't mess up. That's all it'll take. As we continue on, our next little project will be adding astrogranite turf onto the base. This will give it a kind of rocky effect. Make it look more lively. More like they're actually in an urban battlefield. Which, if you're on a Space Marine bike, it's probably best that you're in an urban environment. The flatter the streets, the easier it is for you to go riding. Now, if it's a scout bike, you might want to stick with off-roading. They seem more like dirt bikes in any other situation. So, you know. Now, I don't think I'll ever paint a Space Marine Scout bike, as they're out of production, and on eBay, they go for obscene prices. Granted, one day, maybe, and I might be encouraged to buy one and paint it up for everyone. Who knows? Might be a giveaway or something. That would be nice, doing a giveaway. Now, when it comes to the astrogranite turf, make sure you slush it around. Make sure you get it everywhere nice and even. Or even enough for it to look normal. Well, as normal as a 1-inch tall model can be. You know how it is. Warhammer is always a finicky thing when it comes to the, the terrain and all that. Now, make sure that while you're painting with the astrogranite turf, or, well, spreading it. Is it painting or spreading the astrogranite? I mean, you buy it in a paint pot, you use a paintbrush. This is a conundrum. Make sure that you get all sides. And you make it look somewhat natural by layering it on top of rocks. Well, rock faces. That way it's not just suddenly jolting upwards and looks weird. I feel like now would be a good time to mention the sponsor of this painting video. There's no sponsor. We're broke. Our sponsor is the fact that we're alive. Thank you for your time. And with that, we'll make the final touch-ups on the astrogranite turf. We'll fix up this little corner right here. Make it flush along the edges. Put a little bit on the tires here and there. Fill in some cracks. And with that, we can call the model almost done. Now we just need to grab our fallen friend over there. That's right, he fell again. He's gonna be doing that almost his entire life. Until we get him onto this base right here. Then we'll just plop him right there. Or in some other position that looks good. Now, this won't keep him in place. What this will do is indent the astrogranite turf with his footprints. That way, when we do go to paint him, we can scrape off the paint from those two specific areas, place his feet in, and glue it down. And with that, we have fully finished. Techmarine on bike, not on bike. Thank you very much. Have a good night or a good day.